Hello and welcome to Eva's House of Spirit. I'm Eva, sipping myself a San Pellegrino blood orange seltzer. And I'm here because I wanted to kind of bring up a discussion topic. I want to talk about Hasbro's pink Ouija board. I know it's a little bit, maybe controversial, maybe. But I don't know, I want to share some thoughts on it. Now, it's kind of funny because, I just happened to come across this tonight on Facebook. And I don't know how long this has been out. I don't know a lot of the backstory. I just know that Hasbro made a pink Ouija board. I discovered it on Facebook because one of my friends, who happens to be a practitioner of alternative faith, they made a comment or two, a funny comment on this, thread where there were all these people on soapboxes saying all kinds of crazy things about this pink Ouija board. I do want to show you a picture of what it looks like. I printed out an image from online. It looks like this. It looks like something that maybe Barbie would play with, or, it looks very My Little Pony kind of. And down here, it says ages 8 and over. 8 and over. That's a little scary, in my personal opinion. The thoughts and feelings that I'm sharing here are just my thoughts and feelings. I think if you're an adult and you want to make your own choices and you know what you're doing, or even if you don't know what you're doing and you choose to buy a Ouija board and use it, hey, you're an adult. More power to you. That is your choice. I respect your choice. I'm not going to stand up on a soapbox. I'm not really a fan of Ouija boards, and I don't use them because to me, it's kind of like dialing random numbers out onto the astral plane and you're talking to whoever, unless you are specific in who you're calling out to. And I think, maybe it helps to have some kind of a background with, the metaphysical, the occult, spirituality, something of that nature. Like I think if you have no understanding, no background in that kind of stuff, maybe you want to find out a little bit about that before you start playing around with Ouija boards. Because I think not knowing what one is dealing with is not wise. It's kind of like, it's kind of just as silly as like, would you buy welding equipment and try welding if you didn't know what you were doing? That probably wouldn't be a great idea either. Because though it can do great things, like you can weld stuff up and make really cool sculptures and fix stuff, if you don't know what you're doing, well, you could freaking hurt yourself, or, you could probably have a really bad accident. It's like, and it really is a tool, I think. Just like a nail gun is a tool. Would you hand a nail gun to an 8-year-old? Probably not. But again, this is just my line of thinking. I wouldn't personally buy a Hasbro pink Ouija board for my kid if I had one, because I don't think kids have the same, understanding of what a Ouija board is or the potential that it has for, good or bad. Um, I think it's a bit of a, I think as a tool, or as a, as a device of communication with spirits, I think it's a bit of a slippery slope, because I keep looking at the picture. It's just like so absurd. It's like pink Ouija board. Um, I think, it is a slippery slope, because there is potential for good and there is potential for bad. I don't like to do really a lot of spirit communication in my home, only because I personally feel that I don't really like, myself, the idea of opening that avenue for certain things that may not be as altruistic to try to make their way into my dwelling. And I just feel it's possible, and it's just not something I want to do. There are other methods that, are a whole nother story, a whole nother topic. There are other methods for spirit communication that I, sometimes use, but they're not a potential avenue, I think, as much as a Ouija board can be. Also, I don't believe that Ouija boards always work. I believe that they can work. I mean, I think it depends on a lot of things. I mean, you could try dialing random phone numbers on a phone, but it doesn't mean that every number you dial is actually a connected number that's going to reach somebody, and I think that's a good metaphor for like what a Ouija board really is like a spiritual telephone. But yeah, so these are kind of my thoughts, opinions. I mean, I think if you're a person who's, you're an adult and you're into, kind of, kitschy things, and you like Hello Kitty, and just you think that's a wild Ouija board, well then, so go get one, that's cool. But I don't think that a kid who's 9 years old would really know what to do if they did manage to call something, and if that thing were not a positive power, what would that child do? Now that's it all depends, I mean, you got to think to yourself, like, okay, if the kid's parents had a good background in, the realm of spirit and, the occult and the metaphysical, that kind of stuff. I mean, shamanism, anything, like maybe a kid whose parents were like that, he wouldn't be so bad, because he'd have someone, it wouldn't be such a bad situation. You'd have someone to go to that would know what to do. But I think there's a lot of kids whose parents are not experienced or educated in that realm. What does a kid like that do? I don't think it was wise of Hasbro to make this pink Ouija board. At least, back in the day when it was just Parker Brothers, I mean, their boards at least looked a little more geared toward adults. So I want to know what you think about the Hasbro pink Ouija board. And if you like this video, please like it. Feel free to share it on social media. Please subscribe. And I welcome you to join Eva's House of Spirit on Facebook. And that said, yeah, Hasbro's pink Ouija board. I admire that it's outside the box. It's really outside the box, but it's a little bit scary. So yeah, I'll see you next time then, and just hit me up with some comments. Let me know, what do you think of this crazy idea, this crazy thing that they made? Also, do you have one? Have you used it? Does it work? I would love to hear what everyone has to say on this, because this kind of blew my mind a little bit. It really did. Anyway, until our next exchange, blessed be Anashe.